Okay, hello everyone, and good to see you. So I see many people here in the room, and that's a good sign because the topic that I would like to talk about is not only very exciting, but also very relevant for us. So I would like to talk about generative AI and how generative AI redefines business decision making. I'm Martin Heinig, I work for SAP, and I'm running the New Ventures and Technologies department at SAP, and at the same time I'm also the managing director of SAP Labs Berlin, so here in the region. According to Gartner, the board bot has arrived. And this is interesting, so Gartner predicts that by 2030, 1 out of 4 companies will use an artificial intelligence in their executive boardroom or in the board decisions, and really having someone literally sitting at the table that you can ask questions about, giving some insights, data analysis, and so on and so forth. And for me, this was quite an aha moment, because when I started at SAP, it was 2014, the big topic was the so-called digital boardroom. And the idea there was to you sit in a boardroom and you have all your information at the fingertips and can do some drill downs on data to really come to the best possible decisions. So this will change, and we see how rapidly this evolves. And I mean, we have the first topics there. We have the first bots. They have also some lovely names like Bart or Ernie. Maybe in the future we can also have some more localized versions in German. So I don't know, Kevin, maybe as an example. So there would be a lot of opportunities for us. But an important point here is that for people in roles similar like mine, they should need to pay close attention what is happening out there. I actually got quite suspicious lately when my team showed me a project that we're working on, where they created an avatar that looks like me, it sounds like me, and according to the team, the best feature was actually that the bot only talks when it's asked. So they said that's the opportunity that we have, that is out there, and the big question is, what are the next steps, and when will this technology reach the next maturity level? And this is really, really hard to predict. And therefore, for companies, it's very important to constantly look out there what is happening in the technology space and to monitor what is going on. And this is also exactly what my team is doing. So we're looking at emerging technologies, so can be in the blockchain Web3 world, can be around quantum computing, and of course artificial intelligence. And then we try to find out how to apply these technologies in an enterprise context, in this case for SAP. And to make it a bit more tangible, so we thought about how can we use these technologies to empower the next generation of enterprise applications. And we want to do this via the business technology platform from SAP, and therefore we defined the long-term platform innovation priorities that you can see here on the slides. We said one important area is the future of business collaboration, where we basically use technologies like Web3, blockchain, so decentralized ledger technologies, to enable seamless resource and finance flows across company boundaries. So this can be trusted data sharing, this can be synchronization of cross-company workflows, this can be digital identity, smart contracts, like all these kind of things that you want, where you bring together different companies or even different worlds if your business processes will be extended to the metaverse or virtual reality, for example. Then the second area is the future of business processes, where it is about to be able to compose business processes out of smaller software building blocks. So instead of having a software where you then configure the business process, you would have a business process that then configures and deploys the software components. So a paradigm shift is happening there. And then the third area, and that's where I would like to spend more time on, is the future of business decisions. And basically around how can we use artificial intelligence for the business decisions within a company, so in the business context. We are not doing all of this by our own, of course, so we want to also have a look at the startup ecosystem, so you see it here in the middle, And for us, this is a unit that is called SAP IO Foundries, which is spread across the world. We have 11 foundries at the moment. We also have some colleagues here in Berlin at the booth. So if you're interested in what's going on the startup side, please check it out. All right, future of business decisions. What is this all about? So what we see is that there's an explosion of data available today. And it's even maybe more that we would like to have, because it's really, really hard to have an overview and to make use of all the data that is available. And if you ask some executives, all would say that they would like to have a very data-driven decision-making process within a company. And this is easier said than done, because we need to think about how can a system, in our case ERP systems for example, help you in order to come to the best possible decisions. And we have like a two-step process, so to say. So the first important step would be that you know that something is going wrong, so the time to insight. You need to shorten that dramatically. And then the second step would be the time to act or time to action, where you say, okay, something is going wrong. I need to take a business decision right now. And so in these two steps, we have a big opportunity with artificial intelligence to really make sure that we know that something is going on, that we come up with solution proposals, and that we also personalize these solution proposals according to the user that needs to take the decision. So the first project that I would like to highlight is continuous intelligence. And continuous intelligence is a self-learning machine learning algorithm that is applied on business data streams. And so it monitors constantly several data streams in the business according to metrics that are important to your business. Then in the second step, it detects that something is going wrong. So basically an anomaly detection on these data streams can be like an unexpected drop or like a trend that is happening and visible in the data. And then the third step would be to notify the user, hey, something is going wrong, please take action. And examples could be in the retail space, you see it here on the slides, or service ticket handling, so that you can find out, okay, in some region there's a spike in service tickets for a specific topic, so we need to take some action. So that's the first step. We know something is going wrong. And then the second step would be, what should we do about it? And here the project is called Business Decision Simulator, which is a rapid simulation tool. It uses Monte Carlo simulation in order to do some predictions around like a given input factors, and then comes up with several scenarios, like a scenario that is more likely, unlikely, positive, negative, depending on how you would like to run the simulation. And what it basically does is, we had, for example, a project around trade margin improvement. So the question was, what happens if one input factor can be, for example, energy. If energy prices go up in Germany by another 10%, is it still viable to produce a product X in a plant in Germany, or should we look for alternatives in another country? So you have like input factors, you can define a range for them, and then you run simulations in order to come with pre-simulated business decision proposals. And to make it a bit easier, I have a small video to show you how this could work. So here you see the simulation model. Here you see the input variables. You can change them. And there you would see then the output. Let's roll the video.
This demo takes an example of one of our customers, Merck, a pharmaceutical and life science company with its trade margin simulation. We see through modeling in the Business Decision Simulator how the company's trade margin computation has been translated into a calculation knowledge graph. What you see here is the modeling of uncertainty of different cost and price components that affect the margins of one product across different regions, plants, and business entities that the company operates. This is just one subgraph. And likewise, there are, for example, more than 100,000 graphs to cover all the products for which the business would want the simulation for. Through a modeling UI, It is also easier for end users to quickly add new factors as they emerge affecting the business KPIs. In the simulation screen then, users can adjust the value range to put down their business input representing the uncertainty of different influences, such as changing raw material prices in China, and run simulations to understand the impact on margin shown. Likewise, the user can continue to adjust values of influences as needed for specific business entities, such as Mexico, or for all entities to simulate the effect. The results of the simulation are explained through scenario clusters that can be tied to any of the existing planning tools that the company is using to plan for the next months.
Okay, and this is really working, so it's not just some slideware. But now you may ask, okay, this might be interesting, but where's the Gen AI part? And now I have two options. I can either say the whole presentation was basically generated by AI, so then I could finish here, or I can say, let's have a look what happens if we apply Gen AI to such a scenario modeling tool, and what are our options. As a recap, so Gen AI could redefine business decision making. And the power of these large language models is really, really incredible. Because they can now explain insights, they can provide additional context, they can generate report, they can do so much stuff that we can use in a business context. And the interesting piece is when you look at it, okay, what is the ChatGPT doing basically? You have a command line interface and you input text and you get output as text. And then some of you might say, okay, that's interesting, but we had this 40 years ago. We call it the shell, Unix shell. So what is different? So what is different this time is that instead putting in commands and tell a machine how to generate a certain output, you can now simply describe what your desired output should be. And then the machine figures out how to do this. And this is a game changer. And it probably sounds familiar because maybe you also experienced that someday your boss calls and does exactly that. He tells you or describes what the desired outlook should look like, and you need to figure out how to deliver it. So what we can now do is use the Gen AI as an input for the business decision simulator. And I have also a video. Let's see what happens if we connect these two tools. So it's called GPT for Business Decision Simulator.
GPT enables business users and executives to augment and execute complex tasks like analytical simulations to drive company-wide decision intelligence powered by generative AI. In the current use case, our user Alex is under immense pressure to determine a risk for the company's cash reserve position amidst the energy crisis and sends an answer to his boss within 1 hour. Alex can achieve this comprehensive operation by now interacting with a digital twin offered by a chat interface for the business decision simulator. A first simulation model is built from the company's cash flow statement as a PDF document. GPT is perfect in extracting the information from text in large documents. Once the simulation model is built by GPT agent, the input values of parameters such as the last quarter's cost are derived from the SAP S/4HANA tables. The user is then using external benchmarks published by McKinsey to derive the values for uncertainty influencers such as future energy prices, to simulate future scenarios. Alex continues to utilize the power of ChatGPT to ask for recommendations based on the McKinsey impact analysis. And ChatGPT suggests Alex to consider for other alternatives of energy or to diversify the product portfolio. Finally, Alex could send a GPT-generated summary email to his boss within 20 minutes with the help of GPT agent, without performing data collections, transformations, scenario analysis, and research himself. With this demo, unstructured data was used with SAP structured data as context for the business decision simulator to run simulations to derive meaningful answers for SAP-relevant business questions, to politely communicate to end users and to offer intelligent options based on learnings.
So as you can see here, this took a couple of minutes to come up with a simulation, with a simulation model, which has like these different parameters out of a McKinsey report. I don't know if any McKinsey colleagues are here out there, so they're not aware, they did not pay us any money, but just an example, so you can use, of course, any report. And being able to have this kind of simulation in minutes instead of multiple days or weeks, this is really, really exciting. So I hope that you get an idea what we're working on, how powerful this new technology is. And if you would like to know a bit more, then we also have a colleague here, Sebastian Wiczorek, who will talk about AI tomorrow, and he can give you a deeper look into the technology, into the engineering department and what is going on at SAP in terms of artificial intelligence. And with that, I'm here for answer any questions. So thank you for being here, and yeah, let's open it up for questions.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we have 5 minutes left, which is great. Any questions? Please raise your hand so I can bring you the mic. Don't be shy.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It seems very, very exciting. I was wondering, when it comes to the responsibility of the decisions made, is that also something that you're looking into? Who is responsible? Is it the data provider? Is it the provider of the report, and how that would then develop through the decision making?
Yeah, that's a very important point. And I would say it's a twofold. So on the one hand side, we also as SAP need to pay a lot of attention to that we have an AI that's also only making ethical suggestions. So you need to make sure that also the AI, the artificial intelligence, comes up with some solution proposals that fit to ethics, that fit to the company strategy and the behaviors and so on and so forth. In terms of the data you provide, I mean, you have a similar question also today. If someone like prepares decisions for the executive board and so on, there's like, I would say, the same question. What is new is that now also the machine has some responsibility because it comes up with some solution proposals. And it's a hard question to answer, so it's also a problem. So also a big deal is to be able to explain how did the result derive from all the input factors and the underlying large language model. So explainable AI is the second topic that would fit to this question. Very important. Thank you.
Anyone else?
More questions? There's one question.
Hi, Larissa from CS GmbH. Thanks for the keynote. In the GPT model you mentioned regarding the scenario analysis, you said it is ChatGPT. Aren't there concerns regarding the data security when data is transferred into that model, or do you have an own model running for that at SAP?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Also very relevant, especially in an enterprise context. So currently what we are doing is we're using prompt engineering, which means we are not sending data directly to the model in order to train it, but have it as in a several stage with prompt engineering. But in the future, this will be a very important question for companies. So how do you do that? So do you feed data back and make the general model more powerful? Do you train your own specific model with your own company data that you like see as your special IP and your differentiator? Then you would like to make sure that it is not leaving the company boundaries. So this is a strategy that companies need to figure out for themselves in order to protect their core business. So it's very, very crucial.
Maybe one more? No? Okay, so if no more
Great.
questions, I'm sure Martin's around, right?
Yeah,
and
I'm here.
you can find him during the day. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.